Hello all, Alison here. Welcome back to Words and Pictures for some tag time. I think I found a home for the dragonfly moth, butterfly moth, Perspective Moth. This tag, which as far as I remember, I think I was probably showing around one of my non-crafting visitors and just showing them how crackle paste works through a stencil. So I've got this tag lying around. And then I was probably paying so much attention to what they were doing and thinking of ideas and offering tips that my tag never got any further. I'm not even sure what this is here. Is it shimmering? Don't know what colour green that is. Don't know. Anyway, that's crackle paste through a brick stencil. I think it's something like that. And I think there might be some grasses involved because I've still got the grasses around. There might be some ephemera bits and bobs going on, again things that have been around for a while or things out of my tinted ephemera making, which if you haven't seen that I'll try and remember to link to it. And I have already mounted the tag on some pretty stiff cardboard because the other thing I am dying to find a way of using are these marbles, which yeah, I got in 29 kutchers, so that's less than £1, about $1. Well, depending on the exchange rate at the point when I'm filming this and you're watching it. They're marbles, and I just look at the colour of them. I couldn't leave them in the shop, so I'm thinking that might be he's going to be a dragonfly moth again. And I'm thinking reeds, and I'm thinking maybe something watery along the bottom here, and then we just forget that the bricks are bricks. They're just crackle. The one thing I'm in two minds about is whether to add any blueness to the top part of the tag. I don't want to distract from him. Oh, I wonder whether maybe it's speckled egg. I did get the speckled egg out as well because I thought that might be it. Maybe it's speckled egg ink rather than, if I can find it. No, I can't. Weathered wood is too dull. Where's the speckled egg hiding? I've put it in a safe place, haven't I? There we are. Maybe just a smidge of that. I'm just going to spray it with that behind. Just a little bit of watery. Oh, it's not dissimilar from the green underneath. Interesting. Let's give that some. So maybe it is a little. The other thing I was thinking was a possible flick of tumbled glass oxide. Give it a good shake up so that we get plenty of chalky oxide in there. Just a little spatter of that, adding to the fun. Another little spritz, because that's when you get the chalkiness, is when it's wet. This was just a mop-up moth. I linked to it in the previous video because I thought we were going to use it then, and then we didn't. So the moth had to wait another go. I think that might be more than enough blue, so I'm going to knock some of it back a little bit. And it's a much brighter blue than is on the moth, because I think the moth has probably got some stormy sky involved. So maybe what I need is a bit of stormy sky spatter. That's pretty. It's such a lovely, the stormy sky distress oxide has such a lovely sort of soft lilac-y undertone, sort of more so than the ink, which has got a more of a grey blue. Yeah, so I keep knocking back to the manila just because I'm interested in making sure that we keep enough of a contrast with the background behind. Maybe some tumbled glass. Tumbled glass is the lightest of blues. Maybe a bit of that. Oh, she says, spritzing a load of it on. But you know, we can still knock it back. And that, interestingly, against the manila, of course, because the manila has got yellow tones, the tumbled glass gives us green, and maybe that's okay. Maybe green wateriness is a good thing. I do want to go back in with a bit of this though. This is the Stormy Sky again, which I think is just going to tie things together with the colours on the dragonfly moth itself. I think that's probably enough messing with the background. I think I'm going to leave it and let it stew a little bit while I play around with, oh yes, that's nice. Those little bits of Stormy Sky just hovering there, very nice. Okay, let's see. You still work over that? Yes, you do. I don't want to glue this down so that it becomes all flat, so I'm not going to put lots of gel medium over it. I'm just going to let it take its chances, and it will decay, and I'm fine with that. Just seeing if I want some each side or whether I want a sort of collection of it. It's nice to have the two tall ones and two slightly shorter ones. They're now filling that space of the manila, which is quite nice. Yeah, I think it's something like that. Then I just had, this has just been lying around for a while. This is one of my ephemera stamps from one of the botanical sets. And I stamped it on, I think this is old book paper, just from the margins of old book paper, so that you immediately get that lovely old book look. Can't help it if it's on book paper. And this is, I think that's from Violet Edition, maybe, the Musicians, which I've always loved. I do love the Musicians. I think they have a wonderful kind of medieval feel to them, but I'm not sure they're what we want today. I think probably we want to, if it's going to be ephemera, I think it's going to stick to wanting to be rectangular or square ephemera. I think the circle is kind of distracting me and my eye. Oh, there's quite a nice greenish coloured number strip down there. Let's see if you'll do something good. Tweezers. Ouch, come on. Come on. So I'm really happy. I've got all these all these tinted ephemera to play with. They're just exactly what the doctor ordered on so many projects. They make me happy. That's pretty good. And if the body goes there, okay, so higher up. So that was worth just checking. I think one of the reasons I'm being drawn to the square ephemera is because of the brick shapes in the background. It's interesting. Good. And if you're there, we maybe want just a little something going on down here. What have we got? You're quite a good shape. You're a bit greener. So some of these are my ephemera and some of these are the Tim Holtz Curator labels stamped onto the tinted paper. I think that might do me. And then part of me wants to swap, so I've got the green number strip up near the manila stuff and the manila strip down amongst the green stuff. Good. I think I'm going to glue those down before I change my mind. Let's get a bit on you. Now these are going to be slightly reluctant to glue because they've got crackle paste, which is not the best surface for gluing onto, because it holds on some and then doesn't hold on some of the other. But that seems to have gone down okay. Get that just sticking off the side of the tag, because I like things sticking off the side of the tag. Yeah, you see, did you see that label underneath move just then? I knew it wasn't. I knew it was too good to be true. And maybe we do actually want it over the top. So maybe it's a good thing it moved. Yeah, maybe that's better. Good. There. Let's get our wagon lit down. Sleeping cars. Here, I took the night train to Holland recently when I went to do the Art Specially Fair. I don't think they should be called sleeper trains. I think they should be called sleepless trains. I did not sleep well on the sleeper train. Wagon lit just means wagons for lying down, doesn't it? I think, as opposed to specifically wagons for sleeping. That would be wagon d'or. So yeah, I did get to lie down, and that was advantageous. Lying down was good. Being horizontal for the duration of the journey was a nice thing. But no, sleeping car, it wasn't. I'm changing to the slightly bigger label because I think it's going to show up better. Yeah, I'm going to tuck that under, not over, because that one's gone over. So this one is going to go under. Also, there's a really blank, boring bit there at the end. So who needs it? Good. Let's give those a little firming press, because they are, as I thought they might be, being a little reluctant to cooperate. That goes, oh come on. It's because it's sticking up on the wagon lit as well. So the wagon lit, yes, I say, was on old book paper, but then I mounted it on a bit of card as well, because the book paper was quite fragile and quite old and quite floppy, which wasn't helping me any. So I did end up mounting it. See, I already love this background without the moth, which is what happened last time to the poor moth. I liked the background so much that the moth ended up having to wait his turn. I'm not going to do it to you this time, moth. I'm making this for you. This is for you, and you're going to get to come and stand over it, to hover over it. You probably won't stand over it. You will hover over it. Ugh, messy mucky. So this glue will dry clear, thank goodness, because I'm making a right old pig's ear of that. It's very rude to pig's ears, really. Nothing wrong with pig's ears, is there? Pigs have quite nice ears. Where did that come from? Okay, let's leave that and not touch it while it dries. What about these two? I think that is right. I think that is what I want. I maybe want one coming even further. Yes, look at that. Did you see that? That's what that bit of composition wanted. And going all the way down there. Whereas up here it might just be the two, or we might end up adding another. At the moment I'm not worrying about the stems, as you can see. I'm going to let the tops glue. Going to get those firmly glued down. I can then make decisions about how much glue I want on the stems, if any. My other option with the stems would be to do a bit of stapling, which might be quite fun. A bit of stapling here might be quite fun across these labels. That's such a long grassy stem. I mean, the interesting bit of that grassy stem is really long and really lovely. I like it a lot. Good. We do need you to stay on the tag though. How are we doing? See, what I had almost forgotten are my marbles. I'm not going to say it. Anybody with a love of the idiom of the English language can fill in the gaps themselves on the fact that I just lost my marbles. So yeah, I do want them. Do I want them in blue and green? Do I want them just in green? I don't think I'm trying to create a river as such for the dragonfly to hover over. I just want a sort of a sense of bubbliness. I think it might be all green though. And it would obviously be best if there were 5 of them, because 5 is a more pleasing number to the eye. Flower arrangers are always saying you should have 5 stems, not 4. I think maybe, yeah, so over here I've got 3 stems and here I've got 2 stems. So if I sort of surround these 2 stems, these 3 stems with 2 bubbles and these 2 stems with 3 bubbles, and he's going to need to be mounted quite high. this is good. I'm enjoying this. I'm happy. Can you tell I'm happy? I think I'll go with the gloss super heavy gel, because I don't actually mind, given I've got shiny glass baubles, marbles, I don't actually mind if a little bit of glossy glue tips up. But this is the heavy duty, so this is the Liquitex gloss super heavy gel. And the reason I like the super heavy gel is that, as you can see, its consistency is very gloopy, which means that as I press that down, that is held. I can feel how well that held against the tag. Even before the glue dries, that is lodged in position. That's nice. Now over here, I want to try and get you, maybe it's a question of nudging that stem in that direction. Yeah, there we go. To try and get you a bit further to the right and a bit further up. That's good. Then you down here. See, this is partly why I left the stems, even though my conscious brain had forgotten about the marbles. Clearly my subconscious knew perfectly well that there was going to be a negotiation between marbles and stems down here in the long run. You a bit lower, you a bit lower. Yeah, so although, as I say, it's held, you do have adjustability with that. It's going to be such a heavy tag. Grand. I'm not going to snip these stems until later, when I've worked out. I don't know if I want to snip them in line with the tag or maybe a little bit higher up. OMG. Right, so I'm going to do a little bit of paper bending to just get these wings a little more dimensional. So away from the body at the top and then back again gives me a lovely kink of leaves. I think I'm probably safe lifting that up to show you. Yeah. So he can just kind of soar over the tag. And if I mount him on padded tape, I think is what I want. Ooh, and I know, let's give him some little antennae. That's a twig. I was hoping, well, actually, maybe that's good. I do have some green garden wire somewhere, which I was sort of thinking would make lovely antennae. But looking at this just slightly random little, I think this is a stem, again, left over from the weedy gel printing. Yes, 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 yes. That's better than wire. I was going to do little bits of curly wire, but I think that more fun is the organic delight of a little twig. Okay, let's see if we can get you to stay put, shall we? It's gone a bit short at that side, so let's move it up. Why are you rotating? Why? Tell me why. Let's have a look from here. Yep. Okay, needs to be the other way up because that end is a little bit brown and I want the green. So that's why this stem is green. Sorry, I was halfway through articulating that thought and got distracted. The reason that stem is green is because it was gel printed with, cute, it was gel printed with, and so it got painted basically amongst the gel printing process. Too much glue there, really not necessary to have that much glue for a tiny bit of twig and a tiny bit of paper. So this is why it's good not to always clean up your desk. Sometimes I need to clean up my desk. Sometimes it's just good to have little bits of twig lying around. Padded tape. Got my little square pads. I think they're going to be the thing. And then what I will need to do is let this tag dry thoroughly before I come zooming in for close-ups and things. So I will have a slight delay while I go off and do one of the other 700 things I'm doing at the moment and come back to do close-ups when everything is safely, securely try. What's going on out there today? I don't know if you've been hearing trains and dogs and all kinds of things. Let's try one there. That might be a little bit visible, but I think I can live with it. You might want just one in there as well. Just so he's got a nice stable base underneath him. Because he's, you know, he's a piece of paper with lots of holes in. That makes him fragile. And this is going to be another tag that can't go in the tag crate. It's just going to have to be displayed on a shelf somewhere, because I think it's going to be too fragile to go in a tag crate without sustaining some damage. You just have to make that as a judgment call. What would be nice would be to put him inside maybe a little photo frame. Thanks, padded tape. That was deeply unhelpful. So yeah, if he's displayed inside a photo frame, now I don't even know which side I'm peeling. Bah. How important was that piece? Quite important. What am I in the middle of talking about? Ah, yes, a photo frame. So if I mount this tag in a frame, then the dimensionality of the frame will provide a bit of protection. Clearly we're under attack. Or at least the neighbour down below is under attack. I'm not under attack at the moment, except by uncooperative padded tape. Grr. That's now not sticky at all. So what I'm going to do is the thing that I sometimes do when padded tape is being a pain in the neck, is I'm going to support it with some extra glue, because I frankly don't trust any of those to do the job I'm requiring them to do. So a little dot of glue on that one, 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 and on that one. And then it's deciding exactly how far up or how far down. I think it's there. Quite unusual to see me position something right in the middle. I tend to go off center, but everything else is off center. So the dragonfly himself can afford to be in the middle. Just wondering about this word renewal. No, too much. Let's do a little bit more paper bending here. Nice. And so you can kink those wings kind of exactly as much as you want to get that sense of flight. I do think it wants some word here, but I'm not. Renewal is A, too big, and B, too much. Let's see if there's a maybe quick look in the clipping stickers, and I'll be right back when I've found something. Right, for some time I thought it was going to be a wonderful creature nestling on the creature and on the stems. Then I found where only the imagination can go, which is a slightly longer phrase, so it's sticking out a little bit further. So this is partly a decision about the words and partly a decision about the optics. And I also quite like the italic, so that one, it's not going to focus on that, is it? Hello? Maybe. And a wonderful creature. I think it might be where the imagination, where only the imagination can go. I think the wonderful creature is a bit too sort of strong, whereas this is almost subtle enough that your brain slightly doesn't see it. So I just need a bit where it's resting on the dragonfly moth and a bit where it's going to rest on those stems. and hope, I usually when I glue something like this on, I glue it onto a piece of card as well to make it more stable, but I sort of don't want something that solid this time around. I want it fragile and barely there. Doesn't want to glue to the stem. Come on, I'm just going to have to hold it. In the meantime, the rest of the glue has pretty much dried. These are basically solid. I think the padded, extra glued padding has dried. The antennae have dried. The stems, oh look, this coming off the side here, so that we could help with a little more glue to come back. That's partly because I was fiddling around with the stems earlier and knocked it while it was still drying, which I swore I wasn't going to do, and then I did. Oh, I rather like this. So let's touch that down again. Come on. I don't want to put a clothes peg on for once because I don't want to crush those stems. I think we are going to want just a little bit of twine through the top. It's lovely and heavy when you pick it up because of those marbles. I could do that with a hole punch. Yes, of course I could. Not going to. So I think, yeah, I don't want them in line with the bottom of the tag. So I've just made displaying this even more complicated. So I think it is going to have to be some sort of picture frame. If I manage to locate one at some point in the future, I will show you in another video. I'm probably not going to do the process of sticking it into the frame because that would be pretty tedious. I think I'm going to do a slightly more ornate than usual bit of twine. So I'll go through and then I'll go round as well because I rather like the idea of lots of twine. So I'm going to put this through. There might be a little bit of white spatter to be done because what white spatter is great at when you've got glass on is just drawing the eye to the glass. But other than that, I think we're pretty much there. Thank you so much for your company today. As always, I will try to put as many interesting or useful things in the description below as I can. And yeah, if you have any comments or questions, do pop those in the comment section down below. Not in the description. I do the description. That's because my brain is gone to twine. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the dragonfly moth butterfly finally getting his place to live. Thanks so much for your company as always, and happy crafting all.